Welcome to today's special call City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn. Here. Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Present.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Cale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
We will now recognize Municipal Judge Bart Fight to administer the oath of office to newly elected officials as certified by the County Election Board and seat the new council. I don't care. However we would like to do this.
And I think it's
He needs the
both
microphone.
situations, isn't it?
Yes.
Otherwise, nobody will hear it. Been doing that for a long
Kelly?
All right. Would raise your right hand, please. I, and state your name,
I, John Robert Coburn,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support,
That I-
obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
all of the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Muskogee,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma.
and I will not knowingly receive,
I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance
for the performance
We don't have to mean it.
or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation
other than the compensation
allowed by law.
allowed by law.
I further swear
I further swear
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
my duties as mayor
my duties as mayor
of the City of Muskogee
of the City of Muskogee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
I know. We never pay that.
Especially for you.
Uh-oh.
Maybe he's not going to make it.
Please. I state your name.
I, Patrick Cale,
Hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support,
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma, all the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Muskogee.
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Muskogee,
And I will not knowingly receive,
and I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
any money
or
other valuable thing
for the performance
for the performance
or non-performance
or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation
allowed by law.
I further swear
I further swear
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
my duties as councilman
my duties as councilman
of the City of Muskogee
of the City of Muskogee to the best of my abilities. Thank you, Bart.
The rest of us have to go? Dan?
We have three more. You want to do them
How
all?
about Janie first?
We could do them.
She's Ward 1.
Yeah.
Janie.
I'll let Janie go first.
We could do all three at
All
once
three.
since
Oh,
you've been
good.
previously sworn.
I am easy, however you all would like to do it.
How come the judge gets a written list and we don't?
Let's see.
Okay.
How about?
Judge has a written script.
You all mind doing this?
You don't get no. It's nerve-wracking for us. It's nerve-wracking for us.
Raise your right hand then, okay? I, and then each one of you state your name, please.
Dan Hall.
Janie Cagle Boydston.
All right. Do hereby solemnly swear
Do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support,
I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
all the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
all the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Muskogee,
of the city of Muskogee, Oklahoma.
And I will not knowingly receive,
I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance
for the performance
or non-performance
or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear
Further swear
that I will faithfully discharge my duties
that I will faithfully discharge my duties
as councilman and person
as councilman and person
of the city of Muskogee
of the city of Muskogee
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Again, congratulations. Thank you.
If you all want to wait there, we're going to do a recognition for Employee of the Month. And we'll just join you there. No problem. Darren Merrill, if you would join us, please, sir. Congratulations to Darren Merrill for being named the City of Muskogee Employee of the Month for March of 2016. Darren has been employed with the city for 18 years. In those 18 years, Darren spent about 10 years as a meter reader and has been in his current position as a utility field technician 1 since December 31st of 2007. In his spare time, Darren likes to go fishing at Fort Gibson Dam and fish for catfish, sand bass, and crappie off the wall. He also likes to spend time with his family, which includes his wife, Dawn, and his daughter, Tiana, who is 17. Darren loves his position he currently holds and plans to remain in the position until he is able to retire. Dang. You're going to have that in a long time, aren't you, at your young age? Darren has 3 supervisors, David Hensley, Tammy Tracy, and Pam Bates, which he feels he can talk to if he has a problem, and he is very thankful for each of them. And I'm going to let you have the microphone if you want to say something as well.
I want to thank whoever nominated me. I just appreciate the city of Muskogee giving me the opportunity to work for them, and thank you very much.
Some of you all may not have the opportunity to pass Darren in the hall during the day. He's always in a good mood. He always has a smile on his face, and he's just a pleasant guy to be around. Thank you for that. Now, everybody would like to shake your hand, but I'm going to give you this plaque first, okay? Let's do that. Thank you very much, and then I'll hold it for you while you're shaking hands. We have one other special recognition today. We're just here to say how much we enjoy working with Chief Rex Eskridge, and we are here today to help him celebrate his 71st birthday. Wow. Congratulations, Chief.
Not good.
Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of final election expenses in the amount of $3,454.54 from the Muskogee County Election Board for the general election that was held on February 9th, 2016, and take any necessary action.
Ms. Pam, your name is on that one. So
Yes,
do
sir.
we need to say anything further?
No, sir. That bill came to my office, and I need to get it paid.
Okay.
Move for approval.
The motion,
Second.
and we got a second finally. Any discussion or comment? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 2.
Consider approval to accept donation in the amount of $3,415 from the Gladys Beatrice Sheridan Revocable Living Trust for the purpose of installation of an additional fencing at the City of Muskogee Animal Shelter or take other necessary action.
Mr. Tucker.
Mayor, members of the council, as you may recall, we relocated the 10-foot fence that was surrounding the juvenile detention center when it was on Shawnee Avenue. All but 109 feet of that fence was relocated to the animal shelter for purposes of creating a play area. 109 feet of that fence was left out, and it is in storage at the fairgrounds. We have received a gracious offer to pay for installation of that additional 109 feet, and the shelter has requested that that be reinstalled with an additional gate. This would allow the play area to be larger and would increase the capacity of the area. And we do have the trustee from the Gladys Beatrice Shedden Revocable Living Trust here. The $3,415 donation is based upon a quote that we received for installation of that trust. And we're grateful for the donation, and we do require we do require action from the city to accept that. And the trustee is Judge Stout, and so we thank him for that. Happy to answer any questions, and I recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there comment or discussion?
Just, Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to thank you, Judge Stout, for donating that money for this fence, because it was a lady named Marcella Page. She came to me one day and she asked about that fence at the juvenile detention center, and the guy out there, he donated all that fence to the city of Muskogee, and we put part of it up, but they should have put it all up, but we didn't. But like I say, we want to thank you, sir, and for your generous donation.
Judge, would you have any comment? You're welcome to.
No, we're just happy to be able to do it. We knew that there was a need.
Thank you. Any other comment or question? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed. Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 3.
Consider approval of the appointment of Patrick Kale to the Parks and Recreation Tree Board to serve a 4-year term beginning on April 1st, 2016 and ending on March 31st, 2020, replacing Dan Hall, or take other necessary action.
I was going to say, I'm going to look over here and say Janie Boydston, but I'm going to look over here.
So I'm right here. As it has been explained to Councilman Cahill, we all have to take our turn on the boards and the commissions, and this came up as my turn to suggest someone to be on the Parks and Recreation Tree Board to serve, and he indicated that he has an interest in this, and so I'm happy to nominate Patrick Hale to serve on this board.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or comment?
Have we vetted him pretty good?
I don't know that we have fully. We're going to do that right now.
Just checking, just checking.
Any comment or discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson. Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Our item number 4 will be an executive session, so I would ask for a recess motion. I believe we need a motion to do that.
So
Is that
moved.
correct?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and we will consider ourselves in recess if this passes and go to 2 other agendas. Roll call if there's no discussion.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries, and we will reconvene our recess after we finish our Finance and Public Works agendas.
I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for March 8th, 2016. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of February 16, 2016.
The minutes, are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson. Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item 1 passed. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments from 2/11/2016 to 3/1/2016, or take other necessary action.
Do we have a report from the purchasing committee?
Yes, sir. The purchasing committee met earlier today and reviewed the report of claims, and I move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we approve the claims. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item 2 passed. Item number 3, please.
Discuss and take appropriate action on the request from the Muskogee Housing Authority to waive the payment in lieu of tax funds for 2015 in the amount of $17,630.73, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Tucker?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, state law under the Housing Authority Act requires the housing authority within the county to pay 1/2 of the payment of taxes that would be owed to the city and 1/2 of taxes owed to the school district. Under Title 63, Section 1080, the city is authorized to waive its portion of those taxes. For for calendar year 2015, those taxes amount to $17,630.73. We received a request from Blake Ferris, the executive director, requesting a waiver of those tax payments. The purpose to use those funds are to continue to employ off-duty police officers for security for the 2 housing complexes under the authority of the Muskogee Housing Authority. We have historically done this since at least 2012, but very likely before that. Happy to answer any questions, but I recommend approval.
Any discussion?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston. Yes. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 3 passed. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of a resolution declaring the real property located just north of and adjacent to 817 Texas Street as surplus to the needs of the city, and authorize the sale of the property to Stephen L. Swain in the amount of $726, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Root?
We've met with Stephen Swain, discussed the property. He's the adjacent property owner, so this fits into what we've talked about many times of these vacant lots being picked up by the adjacent property owners, gotten back on the tax rolls. He's deposited the required amount with us, and he's just waiting our approval. Answer any questions?
Questions or discussion?
Move for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item number 4 passed. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval to accept real property donation located in the Higgins Addition, Block 1, Lot 2, or approximately 20th and Columbus, from Jane Crownover and John McCutcheon, trustees of the Pearl S. McCutcheon Trust, to the City of Muskogee, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Root?
Once again, these folks have approached us about accepting this property. The interesting thing about it, it's 7,500 square feet. It's certainly a buildable lot. It could be a lot we might use for one of our incentive programs to get, a house built on that lot. So I would recommend that we accept the donation and answer any questions.
Any questions or discussion?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item 5 passed. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval authorizing the mayor to present a letter of support for Oklahoma House Bill 3126 on the 911 reform, or take any necessary action.
Mr. Tucker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. We have been requested by the city-county 911 authority to issue a letter of support for House Bill 3126. If approved, the House bill would increase the tax placed on cell phone bills from 50 cents to 75 cents. As you know, 100% of the proceeds for this go to support our 911 trust. And this would reduce the burden that the city and the county currently use to support any shortfall in the revenue. The 911 Trust Authority exists solely on that revenue, and any revenue that is represented by a shortfall from those taxes, both from cell phone and landline, are divided equally between the city and the county. Based on this current fiscal year, that amount for the city's portion is about $455,000. If this House Bill 3126 is passed, that would be an additional $160,000 of revenue that the 911 Trust Authority would have. So it would reduce the city's burden by about $80,000. While this is not, of course, the fix that we were hoping for, it certainly does help lessen the burden. So any help we can get from the legislature is one step in the right direction. So we're requesting authority to have the mayor draft a letter in support to send to our local legislatures. Happy to answer any questions, but I recommend approval.
Questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Item 6 passed, so that was our final item, so we adjourn.
And we'll call to order the Public Works Committee meeting. Item number 1, Pam, when you're ready.
Consider approval of the Public Works Committee minutes of February 16, 2016.
Any additions or changes?
Move the approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 2.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of an ordinance rezoning the property located at 301 North York Street, more particularly described in the ordinance, from C1 Local Commercial District to C2 General Commercial District, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We are now in the public hearing. Tish, I guess it's you today?
It is. Mr. Garvin is out. He had a death in the family, so we'll keep him in our thoughts. This is a request to rezone the property. It's a request from United Properties, the current owners. John Reynolds is an agent, to rezone from the C1 local commercial to the C2 general commercial district. Of course, the property is located at 301 North York Street. It is the current O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And it is the zoning request is to allow the existing structure to comply with the new zoning regulations. The C2 general commercial, or the C1 local commercial district, when we passed the zoning regulations, had a limit on the building size of 5,000 square feet, and this building is currently 5,950 square feet. If something were to happen and they were need to rebuild or add on, they would not be able to under the current zone. They can operate under the current zone, but for the sale of the property, they wanted to bring everything under compliance and have requested it to be zoned to the C2. The current existing zoning in the land use, the site is the C1. It's the O'Reilly's Auto Parts. To the north is C1. It's Chet's, to soon to be now a donut shop. It is being sold and going to be redeveloped. And the residential to the south is the C1. It is a Walgreens drugstore. To the east is C1 and C2. It's the Sonic Drive-In. And to the west is R1, which is a single-family dwelling. The land use map does indicate local and general commercial zoning along York Street corridor, and the request to rezone to the C2 complies with the comprehensive plan and land use map that's adopted by the City of Muskogee. Staff and Planning Commission have recommended approval.
Thank you, Tish. Seeing that no one signed up to address this issue, we'll close the public hearing. Discussion amongst committee.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 3.
Hold a public hearing on the request from Cobb Valley Engineering to consider approval of an ordinance closing a 50-foot utility easement, more particularly described in the ordinance, and acceptance of a 20-foot utility easement, both lying within the Aldi addition, or take other necessary action.
We're now in a public hearing. Tish?
Mr. Chair, Commission members, this is a request from Caw Valley Engineering representing the Aldi store. They are requesting an easement, then also an acceptance of a different easement, which is from 50 foot to 20 foot. It's a request to vacate the 50-foot, and he's got inch, it should be easement, 50-foot easement rather than inches there, from OG&E and AT&T were located within that easement, and it vacated Francis Street. Here's the current easement. And they are requesting to dedicate a 20-foot easement for AT&T. The electrical services were relocated. So it just goes down from the 50-foot to the 20-foot to accommodate AT&T. Subdivision Review Committee recommended approval of the closure subject to the new 20-foot easement being provided, and Staff and Planning Commission both recommended approval.
Thank you, Tish. Seeing that no one signed up to speak to this issue, we'll close the public hearing. Discussion or questions among committee?
Move for approval. Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson. Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 4.
Consider the AIM Infrastructure Subcommittee's recommendation for Adopt a Trail program as recommended by the Park and Recreation Board and take any necessary action.
Well, that doesn't look like Mark.
Mayor and Council, we are excited about the Adopt the Trail program. Doug Walton's here to discuss the details, and I'll introduce him. He comes forward. It has been presented at the Park Board meeting and was supported and approved unanimously of the Park Board, and we wanted to bring it forward for you all today. And Doug has details on the program.
Doug, can we have your name and address for the record, please, sir?
Sure. Doug Walton, 2702 Gibson. Thank you, committee and Mayor. This is something that's grown out of several years of efforts through our AIM Infrastructure Committee. Has conducted annual trail cleanups 3 years prior and had great success really with just sort of a once-a-year effort to try and pick up around the Centennial Trail, but really noticed there needed to be something a little more ongoing to keep the trail clean between the March cleanups. And so this is something that several of our committee members kind of began looking into and really ended up modeling it after the city's Adopt a Street program that the council approved last year. Uses very similar language, and I don't know if you had a chance to see in your packet, there is a map showing the trail divided into 10 sections, and all 10 of those sections have already been spoken for by groups that would like to adopt once a program is in place. So we're really excited about having this in place and hopefully being able to launch it with the Muskogee Azalea 500, 1500 here in a few weeks. And I think that's all I have unless there's questions.
Any questions for Doug? Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it, like always.
Move for approval. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 5.
Receive report from staff regarding the streetlights on Honor Heights Drive from Broadway North to the VA Hospital or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, as you will remember, this was directed back to staff to work with OG&E to try and develop a plan to rewire the existing poles. Mr. Tucker, myself, did meet with Mike Ruby from OG&E. We did have a pretty lengthy discussion over the streetlights on Honor Heights Drive. I along with Jim Wixom and Prague, actually went out and did a site inspection, and we did come up with a plan that we feel will work to rewire the poles, the existing poles, so there will be no need for change. This will require a conduit to come out of that inspection plate. It will require a new inspection plate to be built. But we did work out a plan. We do think it will work, and we recommend that we just approve rewiring the lights and putting this project to bed.
So, Mike, is that OG&E's cost as far as rewiring, or is there a split cost, or will that be?
That's OG&E's dime.
Oh, really? Oh, very good. Any other questions?
I really appreciate the staff working with OG&E. I know this has been a long, lengthy process, but that's $30,000 savings right there. Still meeting the objective of hanging the banners, getting the right size of poles, and meeting the objective of lighting the neighborhood. So, great solution. Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other comments or discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Eric Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6.
Discuss and provide direction to staff related to the creation of a Muskogee Airport Trust Authority and take any necessary action.
I have one citizen wishing to speak to this. Shall we hear Matt's presentations and then comments from the audience?
That'd be my recommendation.
All right, Matt.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, beginning a few months ago, I had an opportunity to speak with members of the airport board. I've gone to a formal meeting. I've met with the airport board chairman, Sam Scott, a number of times, and an interest was expressed in creating an airport trust authority to govern the future growth of the airport. You may recently remember that we just did this with the Martin Luther King Center. It would be a fairly similar process, except the airport is a much more extensive process. There's a larger number of assets, a larger number of funding issues. The airport board, after discussion, did formally issue a letter to the city manager requesting that council look into the feasibility of turning this into a trust. I believe there has been a tremendous amount of discussion related to the pros and cons, and based upon the last meeting and the execution of this letter, I think a motion would be appropriate for committee to direct staff to look into the feasibility of the establishment of an airport trust and the mechanisms which would have to be put in place to allow that to happen. This is one where, unlike the Martin Luther King Center, where we could turn it out in 30 or 45 days, I would anticipate an aggressive schedule would be a 90-day window to come back with a report so council can analyze and make a decision. The time could be longer or it could be shorter, and throughout the process, as I've discussed with the airport board, we would be in close contact with them so they could have input along the way. There are a number of different options and ways this can be handled, and I believe it's going to require a tremendous amount of work on their part as well as the cities to see if this is feasible and, in fact, if it is, to implement the process. Recommend approval and be happy to answer any questions.
The chair will now recognize Mike Anderson. Mike, the microphone, please, if you don't mind. We have people on TV nowadays, sorry.
I signed up to visit thinking that possibly you all were going to discuss it more and then there would be some discussion. So if there needed to be a question, if you all had questions of the operator or whatever, that I would be available if you had questions to answer. I don't really have anything to say other than if you have questions, I'm happy to answer. The board's here happy to answer with whatever your questions are. I'm just showed up as the operator. I'm here if you need me.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Any discussion?
Mr. Beasy, are we conducting the feasibility study all internally?
We will do it, we will guide it with input from the airport board. We began going to meetings about a month ago to discuss this, and they've had a tremendous amount of discussion, but this will really come under the guise of the city manager and city staff in analyzing what's going to need to happen specifically budgetarily, because we are entering into the budget process. We have to look substantially at the financial needs of the airport and the ability of the city to contribute possible shortfalls. And Councilor, just to extend off my comments, that's where my 90-day window came in. That's about where the budget would be adopted. And so I wouldn't want to move too aggressively to until we get a good handle on where our budget will be.
Thank you.
You're not expecting us to hammer out the details of that in today's meeting. You're just wanting the authorization to move ahead to begin to hammer those out over the next 3 months.
We're looking for direction, to authorize staff to move forward to look at this if that's the will of the council. If it's not, then it would stop.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item number 7.
Consider approval of change order number 1 to supply contract with Rumpenpen in the amount of $10,708 for converting to dual drive at $5,354 per pump, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, a change order with Rue Pumping is required to convert some drives in the pumps themselves. I've asked Stephen Morton, our water plant superintendent, to come and address the more technical aspects with you, and Stephen is here to do that.
Good afternoon. This change order is to accommodate should we lose power at the water plant. This will give us the ability to hook up to a backup power source, i.e. a diesel motor, so that we can maintain water supply to the city in the event that we do have a power failure.
Stephen, do y'all have a natural gas generator out there also,
No,
or is diesel's what our backup is?
Diesel is our backup.
Now, will you have power for the rest of the facility?
We have diesel generators to power the facility as well.
Thanks.
Well, what happens currently? Power outage goes out.
Our diesel generators kick on to supply power to the plant, and we have one pump that we are running right now. We hook up a drive shaft, if you will, to our diesel motor and start up our diesel motor to supply water.
The age of these pumps is what?
These pumps were put in back in the 80s, so they've long surpassed their lifespan.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item number 8.
Consider acceptance of ODEQ permit number SL 00051160067 for the construction of 2,279 linear feet of 8-inch PVC of sanitary sewer line in all appurtenances to serve the Muskogee residents, Muskogee County, Oklahoma, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, this is part of the 43rd and 45th Street improvement project. As you are aware, on the 43rd Street side at Central Mortar and Grout, we are running 2,279 linear feet of 8-inch PVC sewer line. This was designed, developed by Tri-State Engineering as part of the project. That required us to submit for an ODEQ permit, which we did. We submitted the plan set. It was approved, and as council is aware, when those approvals are given to us, it's a matter of record that has to be through city council. So we're asking for that approval today, and I'll answer any questions.
Any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 9.
Consider an amendment to existing industrial pretreatment ordinance to include revision to the local limits in keeping with the OPDES discharge permit requirements, providing for repealer, severability, and setting an effective date, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, our ordinance, our industrial pretreatment ordinance constantly needs to be monitored and occasionally needs to be amended. The local limits have changed, and Ron Bladen, our environmental technician, is here to explain the need for that change. As council is aware, Ron stays on top of this stuff, does a very excellent job for us in PublicWorks, and he's here to explain the need for the local limit change. This is to do with our pretreatment ordinance and our significant users that we have.
Ron, the floor is yours.
We're required under an OPDS permit through the state of Oklahoma to constantly review and at times revise our local limits. Local limits are applied to our industrial users. The current local limits that are in effect today have been in effect now for 10 years. Things changed. The amount of flow coming into the plant and the amount of industrial flow has changed. The local limits need to reflect that, and these new numbers reflect the new reality we have out there. I've reviewed these numbers and done the calculations. My assistant has reviewed my work, and the city engineer has reviewed the work also. These numbers have been sent off to the DEQ for pre-approval and have been approved to present to the city council.
Thanks, Ron. Ron, I noticed an awfully increase in cyanide for the limits. Am I reading your...
Well, we go by the numbers.
Okay.
There's some parameters that we're able to actually increase the amount allowed discharge, and some others that had been decreased. All these numbers protect the plant, the collection system, and our biosolids.
Okay. Any other questions for Ron?
We need a motion for this item, or just accept the report?
I motion to
We
accept
need
the
a
amendment.
motion to
Yeah,
approve
because
the
we're
amendment.
changing stuff in the
Okay,
ordinance.
move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item number 10.
Consider approval of request for honorary naming of Wewoka Street from 16th to 17th Street as the Reverend Ralphie Boyata Way as per honorary street naming policy, or take any other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce Councilman Van. This is an item that he approached us with to put on the agenda today, and I think he wants to discuss it.
Mr. Van.
In discussions with Ms. Boyata, I think we were wanting to make that Reverend R.E. Boyata. Was it Avenue?
Perlane's here.
Avenue? Way.
The what?
Way. Instead of street, it's Reverend R.E. Boyata Way. And we will, by the way, when we approve these things, we always ask them to come down and proof the sign before we put it.
Please. Ivory?
Yes, I'm going to ask Ms. Perline Boyata to come forward, please. And also the Reverend Beasley from Jerusalem Baptist Church also to come forward. It was brought to my attention, which, like I said, I've known Ms. Boyata a long, long time. It was brought to my attention, and it's an honor and a privilege in order to bring this before the committee today, in order to change the street name from Wewoka to Reverend Ralph E. Boyata Way. And it's that church, he was a pastor for 20 years, and he done a lot of things here in our community. And I always like to do things professionally as I can. And I know Ms. Bates, she's a reader. And I'd just like her to read some of the things that Pastor Boyata done while he was here.
Pastor Boyata saw the substandard living conditions of then Shawnee Heights Apartments after conducting outreach ministry at that location. Thanks to the Phoenix newspaper article about the outreach ministry by Donna Hales, Pastor Boyata got the attention of the late Congressman Mike Sinar, who visited the location and called for a federal investigation. The investigation led to a complete renovation of the apartments. The late Dr. J.A. Reed Jr. was the only pastor that accompanied Pastor Boyata during the outreach ministry and the investigation. Pastor Boyata became the first black pastor and church to actively support and work on the first Habitat for Humanity home under the direction of Ed and Tessie Warren. New Jerusalem donated a church van to be used to pick up volunteers and supplies for the construction. Pastor Boyata served on the Chamber of Commerce Board from 1997 to 1998. His influence as the first black church to become a member encouraged other black churches to become members. Pastor Boyata and his wife funded a college scholarship program that has supported over 12 youth. Pastor Boyata funded and established an emergency assistance program for 5 years to assist with utility costs during the winter months. Pastor Boyata and his church were the first to become monthly supporters of the Derek Reed radio broadcast, initially started under the late Reverend Stothard. Pastor Boyadas was a licensed clinical, pastoral, and certified temperament counselor. He was a member of the Christian Ministers Union, the treasurer and chaplain of the Muskogee Ministerial Alliance, the NAACP, Parks and Recreation Board, Bacone College trustee, member of the Chamber of Commerce, a counselor for the Billy Graham Crusades, an instructor for the Oklahoma School of Regional National Baptist Convention and other district conferences.
Thank you, Ms. Bates. As you can see, Reverend Boyata, he contributed a lot to the city of Muskogee and all over the world, really. And I think this would be a privilege and an honor to put a sign on Wewoka Street honoring him. And that's where, like I say, he was a pastor of New Jerusalem Baptist Church for 20 years. And this is Reverend Beasley. He's the pastor now of the church. And I know he's definitely in support of it. And Ms. Boyata here, she's a lovely woman, and she's always doing stuff in our community. She's on our facilities board, and she's on other boards here in the city of Muskogee. And I also would like to add, I would like to see the city of Muskogee, I'm asking if they would pay for these signs so this can be done. And I'd just like to thank y'all for listening to what I'm saying today. And like I said, I think this is a great honor, and it'll be very good for that community. And I'd like to have some kind of, when we put the sign up, some kind of little ceremony where we can go over there and honor Ms. Boyata. So I'll turn everything back over to Mr. Stewart. And like I said, we definitely would like the city of Muskogee to take care of these two signs for her in honor of her late great husband, the Reverend Pastor Boyata. And thank you, Mr. Beasley, for coming up here today in honor of Ms. Boyata. Thank you. Thank you.
In your packet is a copy of the honorary street naming policy. This does meet all the requirements. There is a fee associated with putting the signs up. It's a $125 per sign. This project would require 2 signs, and as Councilman Van requested that to be waived, that would be $250 that would be expensed to the Street and Alley Fund, and that's not a major lick to that fund. So we have no opposition to that. We did put a map in there to show you the location where it would go on Wewoka Street. And like I stated earlier, we do try and always make sure that somebody comes down and proofs the signs before we put them up to make sure that we get them spelled properly and the names properly put on them. So staff recommends approval.
Move to approve as presented.
Oh.
Second.
So does that include waiving the fees?
Yeah, as presented, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Everybody's on the same page. So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, comments?
On behalf of Ms. Boyata and her family, we'd like to say thank you.
You got it. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item number 11.
Consider approval of a resolution declaring certain items to be surplus to the needs of the city and authorize city manager to dispose of the same.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, in your packet is a resolution, a copy of a resolution to declare 700 used damaged polycart and 600 used damaged plastic lids surplus. We do this periodically. These are past the date when we can do a warranty on them, so we do need to surplus them. We will sell them out for plastic price, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that would bring. It's not much, but it will be something. It would go back to the solid waste fund. We do recommend approval. This will help clean the yard up so we have room for the mayor's cleanup program.
Item number 13.
There's currently quite a few
Let's
parks
not get
down
ahead
there,
of
and that's the
ourselves.
area we need clean. So we recommend approval.
Thank you, Mike.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 12.
Consider approval to accept the donation of real property located at 1627 Center Lane from Michael and Melissa Wolvier to the city of Muskogee or take other necessary action.
Mr. Root.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, this is another property that we're looking to accept as a donation. It was part of our Foundation 400 demolition program. We've demolished the structure. It's a buildable lot, 6,420 square feet, good neighborhood, zoned R1. This would be a lot that we would sell, hopefully like we sold the other 2 lots to Mr. Swain, or we would use it as part of that you get some new market rate single-family homes built on a part of our incentive program if that gets renewed by the foundation.
Thank you, Don.
Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Don.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, comments? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Item number 13.
Discuss the 2016 Muskogee 1500 Azalea Cleanup Program and take any necessary action.
Mayor?
All right, I will take the lead on this. We want to show a video that is done by B&B Media and Kimbra Scott, and help put this together, which kind of gives a nice overview of the project last year and kind of a challenge for this year. So this will be about a 3.5-minute video we'd like to play for you. Conversation I had with an economic development person that was here. Bruce, can we get a little more volume? Came and spoke with us and said, here's one of the things you can do to make your community more attractive to retail business, is clean up your city. And at that point, I began to kind of look at the city and evaluate what we could do, were our existing efforts working, if they were, how successful, and then what we need to do, put them on steroids to get it cleaned up. And with the thinking that if we got this community cleaned up kind of once in a major way, maintaining that would be much easier. And so More Beautiful Muskogee, and then Francie Martin with the city, Jason Green with the city, and PublicWorks Environmental Control were a huge part of it, and they've been working on this effort for years and years in the community. And so those things kind of began to come together, and we had a few meetings and talked about what could happen, and then we began to say to the community, could we get 500 people involved? And then as the sign-up began to happen, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then we had kind of said this thing could reach 1,000 people. Well, it involved 1,310 people before it was all over.
Windy day.
More Beautiful Muskogee committed to it. Then there was individual money that was committed just through fundraising to it. And then there's some money that was put in by the city, and then there was wages for city employees and overtime that was involved. The city staff, the culmination of it being on Saturday, I mean, it was great. I mean, you went down to the dump site there on South Cherokee, and here you've got people from the Public Works Department who have brought their spouse, and they're out there cooking hot dogs for people. I could not be more proud of our community. One of the things I think we need to do moving forward then would be the educational process to say, let's not ever let it get to this point again. Let's raise the bar and keep it raised in terms of how we want our community to look, the pride we want to have in our community. And I think we've started that. How many people could be involved in 2016? 2016 could be 2,500. It could be 3,000. It could be 5,000 people. And it begins to plant the seed in our heart to say, we are going to be litter-free as a community, and it starts with me. Thank you, Bruce. Let me just make an additional comment or two. There would be no way for this to be accomplished without the help of the city staff that I'd mentioned. They just did an absolutely outstanding job. I cannot say enough about that. And the challenge this year is that we want to get 1,500 people or more involved, and we can do that all over the entire city. Waste management was an absolute champion in this effort in terms of making their facilities, their people, their supplies available to us, and have offered, you know, gloves and vests and bags and stuff this year. Keep Oklahoma Beautiful was here and was impressed with what we did, gave us a special recognition. They too, we now have joined that effort, and they too are going to contribute supplies to the effort as well. So March 23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, we will be doing this again this year, and I'm glad to also announce to you today that one of the co-partners in this event is going to be the Muskogee Phoenix. So you'll see a number of ads in the Phoenix. 1017 has been very kind with letting us do PSA announcements on Thursday mornings leading up to the event. So I'm just asking for permission that we would do this again this year and continue to raise that bar ahead. Litter free starts with me, and that's the slogan that we took off the back of Armstrong Bank's shirt and their team as they worked on the event, and very, very successful. Advantage Control won the award for having the largest commercial team, and they literally made it a family event. They had husband, wife, child there, cooked hot dogs. I mean, they just had a heck of a fun day, and they'll be doing some challenges for other industrial and manufacturing accounts in the community for this year's effort. So I'm asking for that permission and move for that approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comments?
May I address the mayor?
Sure.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I was just wondering, this is a very, very, very good program, but I was just wondering in the future if there's any way we could get some contractors here in Muskogee. We could drive around Muskogee and all these lots are growed up full of trees. And code enforcement, that's one thing they can't go in and do is cut trees and stuff. I mean, the contractors. And we need some contractors with track hoes, backhoes, and dozers to go in there and clean some of this stuff up around here. I know in Ward 3 it's like that.
Yes, we can. If you'll show me specifically, and let's literally just do a little driving tour and do that. We had several contractors last year that were involved and literally brought you know, track hose and dozer type equipment that were very, very helpful in the effort. It cleaned up 15 illegal dump sites and that type of thing. So yes, I would. It may be kind of short notice right now because it starts the 23rd, but let's go around and look at those and see what you have in mind exactly. Be happy to.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Eric Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Seeing that we had no citizens assigned to speak to this committee, we are adjourned.
We will now reconvene from our recess. Do we need a motion to do that?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comment or discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Gully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 4.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. Pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local Number 2465, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. B, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 95, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. C, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the International Association of Firefighters, Local Number 57, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
We will now consider ourselves in executive session. If you would.
Motion.
I'm sorry. As soon as we have a motion to do that.
Move we go into executive session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? And roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries. We'll now consider ourselves in executive session. We'll now reconvene out of executive session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn.
Here.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Present.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Janie Boydston.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Mann. Derek
Here.
Reed.
Did we get everybody accounted for? We did. All right. 4A, B, and C.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss negotiations with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees Local 2465, and after being fully briefed, no action is necessary. Item B, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 95, and after being fully briefed, no action is necessary. Item C, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss negotiations with the International Association of Firefighters, Local Number 57, and after being fully briefed, I believe a motion would be appropriate, authorizing the city manager to negotiate a memorandum of understanding regarding salary issues as discussed in executive session and within the parameters discussed in executive session, and if a agreement is reached in those parameters, authorize the manager to execute the same.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Get a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor James Scully.
Yes.
Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Mayor Coburn.
Yes, motion carries, and that concludes our agenda. Thank you.